We have been doing this canto for the last 4 months. It means that we are uh, giving something like 25 hours roughly for this canto alone, 25 hours. Uh, well, we had done the Book of the Divine Mother, Book 3, which is roughly 1500 lines in 15 classes, about 15 classes, means about 20 hours. Now, book 3 in 20 hours or 15 classes, canto 1 alone in 17 classes, you see. So, you can see the kind of density which is there in the opening canto, and yet I don't think we have really grasped the essence of this canto. It can go on and on, perhaps for some more time. I don't know. Maybe when we have completed the whole thing, we would come back again to it and see if something more can come out. Now, while I was preparing the resume of this section, section 2 of the Symbol Dawn, I saw that there are number of new points which we had not covered during the regular sessions which we had earlier about this one, you see. And it is good to look into them, you see. In other words, the more and more you plunge into Savitri, the more and more Savitri reveals itself to us, the epic Savitri, you see. And in a certain sense, in that sense, doing Savitri continuously is also a process of our own continuous growth and expansion, doing Savitri continuously. We don't know how it is happening, but these things do happen, and we are also then, in that sense, growing continuously by doing it repeatedly in that sense. Now, the very first line which we got here, first sentence which we got here. So, we will start again with the first sentence itself of the section 2. And Savitri too awoke among these tribes that hastened to join the brilliant Samana's chant and, lured with the beauty of the apparent beings, acclaimed their portion of ephemeral joy. Now, there are three things in this sentence. The first thing is Savitri is awaking. Savitri is awaking. The second sentence is she is awaking among these tribes. Then she is hastening, awaking and hastening also. Hastening for what? To join this brilliant summoner. The question is, who is this brilliant summoner? And what is his chant? It is the summoner who is chanting. It is the summoner who is chanting. And to the chant of the summoner, these tribes are hastening to join. And along with this tribe, Savitri is also coming along, joining in Savitri. So that is the basic sense, English sense of this one, you see. Now the problem is, what are these tribes? Why they are hastening? Who is this brilliant summoner? What is his chant? These are the four things basically you see. Now before we go to that, we'll simultaneously start reading these notes also. Section 2, the second half of the Symbol Dawn, consists of 42 sentences, 150 slides, and etc. It brings divine Savitri into immediate focus. Second canto, second section, immediately brings into focus Savitri. But who is Savitri? Divine Savitri. Into focus. Bright, speedy, purposeful. She is brought into focus for a certain kind of a purpose. Bright, speedy purpose. And she is poised in the transcendent for taking the mortal birth. See, the whole thing, as I have been telling, is happening in the transcendent. and she is now hastening to join these tribes. We'll see what these tribes are. The terse prolegomenon, that is the introduction, prologue of Savitri, consists of two cantos. Canto 1, the symbol dawn, Canto 2, the issue. The entire problem, thesis of Savitri is first brought into focus in these two cantos, and then the rest of the thing is a kind of a narrative or a development or expansion of the theme. See, presents to us in a luminous occult sweep the early history of Earth. This prolegomenon is basically giving us the early history of Earth leading to the coming of the age of man. How things started, how evolution expanded, grew, has come to a certain point, has come to the point of man. How man has arrived. That is what these first two cantos are dealing with. And the prospects that can unfold with his advent, with the arrival of man, what can happen next is what is important. The appearance of man in this creation is the beginning of a grand, happy possibility. It is that possibility which has to be explored, which has to be strengthened, which has to be carried forward on the upward evolutionary slope. Man has appeared on the scene. Now it is with man's appearance, a new possibility in the process of evolution has grown. In fact, the collaboration of man is something which is required at this stage for hastening the process of evolution. The mother says so, that nature has been carrying on the work, man has arrived, now man can help nature, nature can get help from man and carry the evolution further. So it is the collaboration of man which is important now here. So the appearance of man in this creation is the beginning of a glad, happy possibility. Obviously, he can participate now in the process of evolution consciously, although he is half conscious. With that consciousness, he can participate now. It is that possibility which has to be explored, which has to be strengthened, which has to be carried forward on the upward evolutionary, means from man, not beyond man, is a possibility. But these are the future prospects that have to be worked out by the divine incarnate. Man is there, he is doing certain things, but the crucial task will be done by the divine himself incarnating here on earth. To be worked out by the divine incarnate. That working out is the beginning of the story of Savitri. Collaboration of man is there, man has come, things can move forward, but the working out is the beginning of the story of Savitri. For that kind of indispensable arrival of hers, for her necessary mortal birth, what is imperative is the world's desire. There should be an urge, there should be a desire, there should be invocation, there should be receptivity on the part of the earth also. World's desire, the aspiring soul's entreaty must be quickened, must be set ablaze and taken to the Supreme. Must be set ablaze and taken to the Supreme. There is an aspiration, there is invocation, there is prayer, there is entity in the soul of the man, but it is feeble. Man is not fully able to that. Now, who is going to set that thing ablaze? It is the divine who will incarnate himself. In the story of Savitri, it is Ashwapati who will come and do that thing. It is Ashwapati who will carry this world's desire to the Supreme Goddess and pray to her, well, this is what we want, etc. Quickened, must be set ablaze and taken to the Supreme. The divine yogi comes to do it. He comes and prepares the flame strong and flame splendid ground for her birth. It is he, Ashwapati, who really prepares the Adhara for the arrival of Savitri in this creation. In fact, this yogi, he not only prepares the ground for her coming, he does something more. something more important, something more significant. What does he do that? He does something more than that, something absolutely marvelous. He founds a new creation in the house of the spirit. He establishes a new creation. By his yogic power, he establishes a new creation in the house of the spirit, in the transcendent, in Satchidananda. He creates a new creation. Unless that is there, it cannot come here. Unless something is established there, it cannot happen here. As if a kind of a transcendental prototype has to be created, and then that prototype can work itself out and come down here. Unless something is there, it cannot happen here. That is the whole basis. So Ashwapati's marvelous work is to create a new world there, new possibility to be established there, and then bring it down. So he founds a new creation in the house of the spirit, a creation of the qualities and dimensions of the manifesting spirit. Obviously, bringing down that new and marvelous creation, the terrestrial scheme, is the next desideratum. That is what, yes, it has to be brought down here now. It is that which should mark a joyful, longed for, long awaited divine event. What is the divine event? Bringing down that thing. It is that which needs to be promoted, and promoted in every respect. That is the foremost concern, a challenging concern. In the fulfillment of that concern is the essentiality of the presence and authority of Savitri. If that divine event has to come down, then Savitri's presence here is absolutely necessary. It cannot happen without her at all, you see. So that is how the Savitri, in the very first sentence we have got here, Savitri hastened. All that thing is kind of understood behind that thing. Through the earlier Manvantaras, through the long repeated cycles of things were happening. See, this Manvantara of man, as I told you earlier, I mean, in the Puranic story of the 10 avatars, Dasha avatar as we call them, the earlier avatars, 4 avatars, were of animal kind, starting from fish, then tortoise, then boar, then half man, half lion, Narasimha. These were in the first cycle of Yuga, in the first Yuga, Krita Yuga, Satya Yuga. Then came the 3 avatars, Vamana, then Parshuram, and then Rama. The arrival of Rama masked the presence of man in the process of evolution. So that is really the significance of Rama's avatarhood. The Manomaya Purusha, the mental being, has now come on the earth. So through the earlier Manvantaras, through the long repeated cycles of time, things were happening. Earlier all those things were there. See, earlier when basically they were vital forces, life forces, all these animals and even lion, Parshuram, they were all animal forces, demoniac in character, gigantic nature, titanic in nature, that kind of a thing were there. They had to be kind of subdued, removed away from the scene. The defeat of Ravana means that all those Asuric forces which were there, the Pishachas, the Rakshasas, Asuras which were there, they had to be subdued so that a path is cleared out. That is the transition point of Rama's avatarhood, you see. In fact, in that sense, I will really praise the stand which was taken by Ravana himself. Ravana opposed the divine. He became the enemy of God purposefully. And with all his Asuric forces and powers and capacities which he had, he could conquer the entire world. All the gods were enchained and enslaved by him. Such was the Asuric force at that time. Now such a person, he says, my whole idea is by becoming the enemy of God and by getting absorbed by God, I am dissolving myself totally. dissolving myself totally, dissolving, disappearing from the scene. You see, in other words, the entire Asuric force which he had gathered within him, he had put now entirely into the charge of the divine himself. So, in that sense, I will rather really praise the kind of a stand which Ravana had taken. It's a very beautiful thing. Look, I become enemy of God. All the opposition which is there, I surrender myself and offer to God. So it is no more there now. So the Rakshasic force which was there until now, that got subdued and things became easier for man to move forward, you see, because of that. So in that sense, he has really played a very kind of a, although in a very negative manner, a very useful, purposeful role in the entire scheme of things, Ravana's avatar, so to say. Through the pronounced and long through the earlier Manvantaras, through the long repeated cycles of time, things were happening. All these avatars were coming. So gradually the evolution was progressing, kind of happening, understandably, not within a degree of pronounced living sentience. That living livelihood is not there, obviously earlier, because mind was not there at all. Sensation in the terms of future developments and scenarios. But with the arrival of the mental being, of Manomaya Purusham, there began a new age, a new momentous age, the age of man, that is Manvantaram. Man, the well-made being, in him growing possibilities, with it advanced the happy glimmer of participative hope. You could really now participate in the process of evolution, you see. Participative hope. Yes.
Manvantara means
Mana means man.
Manvantara means
A period of time. Anna.
period of time.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Not specific event.
yeah. Participative hope. With him, he can things and move. Until now, earlier developments were not able to participate in that sense. But the divine event has yet to march on, because it is the whole thing. However, it cannot arrive and march on when there is this stiff mind of night standing as a dreadful obstacle across the path. The mind of night is standing, therefore the divine event cannot march on. Can man remove that obstacle of the mind of night? No, he cannot. It is entirely beyond his capacity. Entirely beyond his capacity. A higher power must come and do it. It is to this stern, grim reality Savitri awakes. Yes, man has come on the scene. Man can participate now in the process of evolution, but evolution cannot really proceed as long as that mind of night is present across the paths. In order to remove that, it is necessary that Savitri must come and remove that obstacle. It is to this stern, grim reality Savitri awakes. Savitri awakes. It doesn't say Savitri was born, Savitri has arrived. Savitri awakes. Savitri has been there since the beginning of the earth. But she was kind of listless, somnolent, in the state of somnolence. Now, with the arrival of man, Savitri suddenly awakes to her mission. Savitri, who has been always here, she awakes with the arrival of man on the evolutionary scene. Awakes, you see. Well, this is what these two lines mean. And Savitri too awoke among these tribes and hastened to join the brilliant Samanascha. So in the whole process of evolution, starting from the fish avatar, so to say, they come to the point of the presence and the work of Savitri. And Savitri too, here is a summoner, and here is chant, the divine caller, and his call. Savitri awakes, the divine call has come. He is the divine summoner. Summon is giving a call, and it's called divine azan. Azan, that is the Arabic prayer. The call for prayer. It is that azan. It is the call for the prayer. So, summoner's chant is that adhan, essentially. He doesn't use that way, that word adhan. But I will say it is adhan itself. And see, adhan, what does it say? It says, hurry up, hasten to join the prayer. Allahu Akbar. And the third thing is hasten, hasten. The word is hasten to join the prayer. The call for the prayer has come, and hasten to join the prayer. The whole call has come in there. And here you have got this word hasten. See? And a call, the chant, you see. Here is summoner, and here is chant, the divine caller, and his call, divine azan. Hasten to join the prayer. And here the tribes hastening to join. So, when the azan is there, all the tribes are there, that is hastening to join the azan. Savitri also. So, this is the immediate meaning in the context of the call of tribe. Savitri also gets up that morning and rushes to be with them, these tribes. The contents of the chant are compelling. She must join. The chant is so powerful, so attractive. She must join the chant, you see. What the chant is, that you will see. And they hasten them to be a part of it. Yes.
This means that the tribes are aware of the summoners.
Yes.
They are aware of the calls. These tribes.
Yes.
You know, that's something.
Yes, so we will see that thing a little more. Yeah, I mean, I am giving the Arabic context here. The summoners call azan. I am giving. It is not there anywhere.
The question is that the tribes, these tribes.
Yes. Now, in those days, there was the tribes, and when the call came, they joined.
These tribes hear the call.
Yes. They were ready. You see, obviously, they were obviously ready to some extent.
Within is ready.
Yeah, within and outside also. I mean, at least there were masters, there were corps which were ready to hear the call and participate in the whole thing. Forget about the entire society, but there were elements there present. Yes, you were saying?
First, it's not Arabic, it's Muslim.
Uh-huh.
It's not Arabic, it's Muslim.
Yes.
It's not Arabic.
No, Azan is Arabic.
I am Arabic, I am not Muslim.
The Azan is not Arabic,
It's Muslim.
but Arab is not. No. But all that thing happened.
No, I mean, don't
I understand. Muslim came later.
No.
Muslim came later.
Adhan, it came with the Muslim.
No,
Of course.
no. It came with Prophet.
Yeah, this is a Muslim.
With the Prophet. So, it came with the Prophet. So, but basically, he was an Arab.
No, but okay.
Muslims happened later on.
It's people, and Islam, it's a religion.
Yeah, but then that started with this. That started with.
But there is 200 million Muslims in India. They are not Arab.
No. No, that is. Forget about the later part.
That's what I mean.
No, forget about the later part. No, that is not the point. The point is basically the call has come. The divine call has come.
This is another question.
Yeah.
Now, my
Now,
second
the divine call has come from where? In the form of a call, and I am connecting that thing with Adhan. Now, Adhan is basically an Arabic verse.
okay.
Yes, it is an Arabic verse.
Because the Islam speak Arabic.
Adhan is an Arabic verse.
Christian don't have an azan. That's what I mean. Of course not.
Yeah,
The
you're
azan
right.
is
I think
only
you're
for the Muslim religion.
Now, Muslim came later on. Muslim came later on. First you had Arab. In the Arabs came the Prophet, and it is the Prophet who gave the call.
Yeah, but the Muslim brought the azan.
No. It started with Prophet.
The Prophet,
Yes.
it is the Muslim people. The Prophet, which
No,
Prophet?
actually one of his slaves used to chant the Adhan 5 times in a day.
Still they do.
No, still that continues, that is different. I'm talking now how it began. When the call for the prayer was chanted by one of the slaves, the Prophet saw that he sang, he spoke, he uttered very, very powerfully. And then he installed that thing as a process. The Prophet himself, the slave, he was calling for the prayer, the masses, and the masses joined for the prayer at that time. And then when he could do that kind of a thing, he was freed. He became a free man. He got his freedom. You see. This was done by the Prophet himself. Well, this is my understanding. If you got something,
For me, the Prophet, you mean the Prophet Muhammad?
yes.
He brought the prayer, he brought the Islam religion, and he
No,
brought.
I am not talking. Forget about religion and all that. We are talking about forget about religion and other things. At this point, the praise of God is a prayer. That prayer was being uttered 5 times in a day, and the whole procedure was this man would go and call the people around that the time for the prayer is now. You please hasten and join the prayer mass. That is what Adhan means. Allahu Akbar, that is how it stands. And
Yes.
yeah. Great is God and Prophet is the only, you see, that thing you see. Azan, hasten to join. Basically, I am attracted by this word, hasten to join. That Azan, join this prayer. All people are crowded. Well, it is a kind of an immediate historical context, if at all, but we'll see in a different manner, you see.
Second question, I come back to secondary.
Yeah.
So who is actually the summoner here in this time?
We are coming to that. We are coming to that, you see. I am just linking that thing. But before we come to that, but first admire the metrical beauty of the second line. That hasten to join the brilliant summoner's chant. That hasten to join the brilliant summoner's chant. See, this is basically a line. I am Anapis, I am Anapis, I am. Very beautiful, very powerful line. That hasten to join the brilliant summoner's chant. It's a long line. The prayer call is going on. You see, a long line. Hasten to join the brilliant summoner's chant. There is the bouncing, leaping haste in it to be there in time. Time has come for the prayer. Let's go and join. Haste carried by the alliterative N in it. Alliterative N, you see how many N's are there? Hasten, join, brilliant, summoner, chant. 5, 6 N's, you see. And very powerful alliteration also. Hasten to join the brilliant summoner's chant. That the brilliant summoner has come and it should not be missed. The quiet sweep of the voice seems to resound and resound, goes on and on that call, with so many N's and T's in it. T's also, hasten to join the brilliant summoner's chant. T's also, so many T's are there, you see. Well, this is the metrical part of the line, you see. Then we come to the second section begins with the line, and Savitri too awoke among these tribes. That is what we have got here. Savitri too awoke among these tribes. And the line begins with and emphasizing the connection it has with the previous line of man. Man lifted up the burden of his feet. So, and means Savitri is coming and man, the connection is immediately established between the two. It has with the previous lines man, and the frightening load of mortality has to lift. Man has to lift the frightening load of mortality. He has to lift it and he has to save his fate. man lifted up the burden of his weight. There is a visible connection also between this man and these tribes, you see. We are seeing that thing. Man himself is first a Pashu. See how the evolution of man, I think, I'm quoting this thing from the record of yoga. See, the record of yoga. Man himself is first a Pashu. Pashu means animal. Then a Pishach, goblin, demon, you see, Pishach. Then Pramatta, who is strong, arrogant. Rakshasa, who is a giant, Rakshasa. Then he is Asura, he is Titan. So you have got Pishacha, Rakshasa, Asura. And then after that comes Deva and a Siddha. So that is how man himself is progressing all along. Now it is among these tribes, Savitri is awaking. He ascends the new slow ladder of his being towards Satpurusha. Yeah, yes.
Please, can you repeat the meaning of the Pashu?
Yeah, Pashu, animal. Pashu. Pishacha, demon. Demon. Rakshasa, giant. I'll tell you. Rakshasa, giant.
That?
Giant. Giant. Giant.
Giant. Oh, okay.
Giant. Then Asura is Titan. Asura is Titan. See, in the Greek mythology, I got before the Olympians came, there were the Titans. Before,
Of course.
Asura. Then comes Deva, God. The celestial beings.
So we are between the Asuras and the Devas.
Yeah, Deva and Siddhas who are. So this is the evolution of man himself. Man himself, yeah.
Is it the same meaning that Sri Aurobindo mentions in the letters on Vichasha, Rakshasha,
Yeah, that's right.
Asura,
Yeah, this is-
Demon, Titan, but it's not this. It's our living.
We have gone through those stages. That is how the evolution has come forward.
It means that man went through these stages.
Yeah, you see, basically, you understand it like this. First, life started, vital life. Now, vital life, there is no mental part of it. Vital life full of hostility, all see the demonic character is there, gigantic character is there, the titanic character is there. That is the very nature of life itself. That is how life grew, and it is those elements which are present in man. That man has grown like that. We have come through all those stages. That is why I was saying Ravana's sacrificing himself, merging into the divine, is something very, very beautiful in a way. That with that, all the Asuric forces have now got dissolved into the Supreme Himself. They are no more there now in that sense, you see. So,
Where are we now?
Yes, this is
Where
my
are we?
question. Where we are now?
we are progressing in this direction now. We are, yeah, we are, yeah. He ascend the slow ladder of his being towards Satpurusha. Man, we are progressing towards Satpurusha, towards higher being, you see.
But the Azuric forces are still active.
Yes.
Huh? It is
No,
happening.
Azuric forces still very much active. All the rest are,
This is nothing compared with what was.
oh, that is nothing.
This is nothing compared with what was. you see.
Before it was,
Yeah.
what was only this.
See, in a certain sense, you can imagine. Now you have got dinosaurs. I mean, they are all vital beings of a certain character. They got dissolved. They are no more there. See, in the process of evolution, life expresses herself in various ways, with full force, with full opposition, full hostility, with all kind of things in her. She expresses herself fully like that, and it has gone through. The dinosaurs have gone away just like that. How? We don't know. See, Shaivantu has simply given one hint, but the entire theory of evolution which is there, nobody asked him. That is the sad part of it, you see.
Nobody
It's
asked him.
written somewhere. Shomila mentioned in the record of the the present humanity is still absolutely.
Yeah, see, it is there. It is there. No, but imagine, imagine the magnitude which was present in those days. See the avatarhood of Parshurama before Rama came on the scene. Parshurama was a divine avatar himself, Vishnu's avatar himself. What was his role? It is he who had destroyed the Kshatriyas, the vital beings of a great character, 21 times. Removed from the earth's scene. 21 times he destroyed. Kshatriya is a word, but it means that all the vital forces which had sprung up into existence, they had to be removed. They had to be removed. That is what he did. And when that clearing effect had taken place, then man, Rama came to. That clearing effect was necessary. Parshurama's work is in that sense, remove all those strong vital forces which are there present, you see.
Even the Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita, the people speak that all these tribes, all these warriors were Asuric. They had to be destroyed.
They had to be destroyed, exactly. In fact, Ramana is full of that. Ramana is full of it. Yeah. Ramana is a double story written both ways. Now we come to that one. It is to ascend, you see, he ascends the slow ladder of his being towards Satpurusha, man, you see. All right. Then to ascend, it is to acquire new birth. Every time you go, it means that you are acquiring new birth. There are 5 births of man. 5 worlds of creatures where works are done. 5 births of man. Panchajanaha. 5 births, Panchajanaha. 5 worlds. The eaters of the rich, strengthening food. Who is the Jana? Who are these people? They are the eaters of food which strengthens you spiritually. Strengthens you in the spiritual self. These are the 5 janas, these are the tribes. These are the 5 tribes who eat the food which strengthens you, the spiritual food which strengthens. Now this is from the Rigveda. Panchajana is from Rigveda. Rigveda, Mandala 10, Sukta 53. It is not there in the notes, but you can note down that. Mandala 10, Sukta 53, X53, 10th Mandala. Panchajana, this is Panchajana, 5 people. And these are the 5 people who are really giving the call. Who are the tribes who are joining this Samana? These 5 people. These are the 5 people who are joining. Those who are strengthening, who eat the strengthening food, the spiritual food which lifts you up, carries you forward. So these tribes, I will link up with these 5 tribes, 5 people.
Aurobindo really condensed it.
Yes. So man has gone through all these things. Now he has come to these 5 Panchajana, you see. And it is here the call is coming now. Call is coming for what? To go beyond man, to be more than man. The eaters of the rich strengthening food, Panchajana. These are the 5 types. What are the 5 types? Each of them a great people occupying its own province or state of the total human nature. What are the 5 tribes? First, there are the worlds of the physical, obviously, man, but in the physical world. Then there are the worlds of the vital of life, nervous or vital. Then there is pure mental consciousness. These are the 3 already here. Then there is this vast, beyond mind, the spiritual. That is 4th, you see. Vast, which is the basis, the foundation of the infinite consciousness. That vast is the foundation of the infinite consciousness. This vast is the truth we suppose the supreme triple word, Satchidananda. It is that Brahat, it is that we suppose Satchidananda. The highest seeds of Agni of Vishnu. So Vishnu is climbing up all these 5 steps, you see. Man has to climb this splendorous hill. He has to climb up like that, you see. Splendorous. These are the 5 tribes which are hearing the call, the samanas call, you see. In words, you have already gone through all these stages. Now a stage beyond man, and the saman is coming to go beyond man, you see.
So it's the avatar.
Huh?
It means the avatar.
I suppose, yeah. Yeah, yes.
So, Vijnana. Vijnana is only considered
Who?
this Vijnana.
Vijnana. Well, the vas you can equate with vas. Yeah. Vas. See, there is then vast. That is Vijnana, if you like to say. I am using the Sanskrit term. Brahat. Vast. Expand.
Yes, Superman is
Vijnana.
Vajam, Satyam, Vijam, and Veka.
Yeah.
And this is Vijnana according to
Yeah, well, I mean,
this is something like that.
yeah, well, it is something like that, you can say. Beyond that, the triple word, that is Satchidananda.
Then Satchidananda above.
Yes.
Yeah.
The highest seeds of Agni. So it is there that the aspiring soul, aspiring fire is climbing up of man, Agni. Agni, he is himself a form of Vishnu. Climbing up. The avatarhood of Vishnu is climbing up like that, you see. Starting from the fish, he is now coming up to this point, you see. Man has to climb these splendorous hills, all these beautiful hills, he has to climb up again, you see. There is a well-marked shift in the series of ascents corresponding to a yuga transition. So, when this is happening, when man is arriving, that's what I am describing here. The transition is taking place from Satya or Trita Yuga to Treta Yuga. Satya Yuga is the yuga when those 4 avatars were present earlier. Fish, tortoise, boar, Narasimha, half man. That is Satya Yuga. The transition is going now into Treta Yuga, when there are 3 avatars, Vamana, Parshuram and Rama. So the transition from Satya to Treta Yuga, that marks the man proper, going further up. The avatarhood of Rama at the end of Treta Yuga could thus be taken as marking an extremely significant transition from the pure vital mental to mental. That is the big transition which is taking place in the extended history of evolution of consciousness and its forms. A transition essentially from the demoniac, that is Pishacha, demoniac is Pishacha, to the titanic, that is Asuric, vital, to the soft mental, from infra-life to mind, grace of prana of life to manas. So that is the transition from Treta Yuga, from Krita Yuga to Treta Yuga. It is here, it is among these tribes, among these climbing mental types, in the milieu of the rising mental beings, that Savitri awakes. And among these tribes, Savitri too awoke. See, this is a long description of the phrase in my understanding of things. See. That Savitri awakes for what? To give herself to the epochal task. These who are joining the brilliant Samanas chant, she is now joining. Savitri is there earlier also, but she was in what we see in the later phrase, the original somnolence. She was in a state of somnolence, you see. Now she is awaking from that somnolence, you see. There are those who are sending their intense and ardent affirmative Lord to the Supreme. Among these people, these great people, they are sending prayer to the Lord. There are those who are sending their intense and ardent affirmative Lord, the stoma, the yajna invocation to the brilliant Samana. It is they are sending to the brilliant Samana. The sun god, Savitra, the supramental sun, the supramental being or Purusha. They, the Siddhas, Rishis, celestial beings, Devas, they founded on a vaster consciousness. Savitri hastens to join this great chant of theirs to the brilliant Samana, the supramental sun. Savitri hastens to join. Yet, who is this brilliant Samana? Who is this brilliant Samana? He has already arrived on the amber stairs of birth. The brilliant leader or the omnipotent flaming pioneer. He is already there, the brilliant Samana. On the omnipotent flaming pioneer, the yogi incarnate has already seen this flaming pioneer. They, the sunlight children, crossing the brilliant twilight of an age. Let us read 90.28. So he is the flame pioneer, the brilliant Samana. 90.228. Now Ashwapati is with the Divine Mother. He is making an entreaty to her, prayer to her. And she says, don't worry about things will happen. You see, the evolution has gone through all the cycles and all that thing. So many things you have already seen. Time will take care of it. Why are you in a hurry? Why you want something to happen so suddenly? It is not proper for you to make haste in that respect. Because if you make haste, it may prove disastrous. She is giving him a word of caution in that respect. But this man says, I'm sorry, I'm not going to listen to you. I want certain things to be done the way I am proposing to do. And he says, why I am proposing? Because I saw the omnipotent flaming pioneers over the heavenly verge which towers towards life come crowding down the amber stairs of birth. On the amber stairs of birth, they are coming. They are there waiting to take birth on earth. They are already there present. And they had to come here. I want them to come down here upon earth. Come crowding down the amber stairs of birth. Forerunners of a divine multitude. Out of the path of the morning star, they came into the little room of mortal life. See, they are already words on that word there. So he is already seeing them. So he is giving the call to them. So Savitri is in a way listening to this call of this forerunner, this pioneer. He is the pioneer. And she is telling, look, the divine multitude is waiting up there to come upon earth. And things have to be hastened. So he is insisting that something has got to be done for that. And it is that call, that insistence, Savitri is joining. She is now seeing in him the brilliant summoner giving that call, you see. I saw them cross the twilight of an age. One yuga to another yuga, the transition is taking place. The Sanai children of a marvelous dawn, etc. Yet who is this brilliant summoner? He has already arrived on the amber stairs of birth. He is there now. He is calling you in the call. And Savitri has to take birth. Because after this, Ashwapati gave the point. Yes, Savitri will come. Means Savitri listened to that call, you see. Brilliant, omnipotent, flaming pioneer, the yogi incarnate, has already seen these flaming pioneers. They, the Sanite children, crossing the twilight of an age. Yet, who is this brilliant summoner? To whom Savitri hastens to respond, it is this brilliant summoner, the strong forerunner. He is the strong forerunner. Brilliant summoner is the strong forerunner. The flame pioneer. who compelled her mortal birth. He compelled her mortal birth. He is a strong forerunner. 89.212. Ashwapati is addressed by the Divine Mother. O Son of Strength! She is addressing him, O Son of Strength! He is the summoner. It is he who is summoning all things. It is he who is asking for the mortal birth of the Divine Mother. O Son of Strength! Thou climbest creation peaks. And then 91.3, we have got very clearly here, O strong forerunner! He is addressed as strong forerunner, you see. It is his chant, it is his call to which Savitri is awaking. And how does she awake? O strong forerunner, that is Ashwapati himself. And she tells him, one shall descend. 91.4, one shall descend. One shall descend. She is not naming here, but it is Savitri. She herself will come as Savitri. It is that brilliant summoner who is summoning her mortal birth. One shall descend. Man has lifted up to those 5 Panchajana, to this stage, then she will come up. There was the worst desire, 5.1. A worst desire compelled her mortal birth. Worst desire compelled her mortal. 5.1. She has come because of this worst desire. There was the worst desire at the beginning, at the benign roots of things. See, there were people who were aspiring. There were elements like that who were aspiring for that kind of a thing. At the benign roots of things, desire for things divine in every respect that is there already. And he kindled it with his yogic fire. He, that divine summoner, kindled it with his yogic fire and took it to the Supreme Goddess. He, Ashwapati, he kindled that desire in the world with his yogic fire, and then after making it bright with the fire, he takes it to the Supreme Mother, to the Supreme Goddess, and made an ardent plea to her. He prayed her to mission to earth a living form of hers. A living form of her. He wanted the word be spoken from the heights, and he specified the task also for her. Yes, she should come, and what she should do, that also he specified. That she should come and unlock the doors of faith. She should come and unlock the doors of faith. She granted him the boon. He was assured that one would descend and break the iron law, the law of death. He was assured that thing. So he is the brilliant summoner. It is he who has called her down. You see, he is the brilliant summoner. You see. And what is the chant? Okay, the brilliant summoner's chant. This is what the brilliant summoner is doing. What is the chant? It is a hymn. What is a chant? Chant is a hymn. It is a mighty praise, a thunderous applause to Supreme Himself. A passionate, affirmative Lord, a weighty invocation for the coming of the avatar. That is the chant, coming of the avatar. The avatar will build a new race in the house of the Spirit. That is the brilliant summoner's welcome chant. It is the chant of the name of Vishnu form. It is the chant of the transfiguration and the ecstasy. The chant of the transfiguration and ecstasy. 106.11. Narad is singing the 5 songs when it's coming down, no? 106.11. He sang the glory and marvel still to be born. See, of the Divine Mother herself, he sang the glory and the marvel still to be born. Of the Godhead throwing off at last its weight. Of bodies made divine and life made pleasant. Immortal sweetness grasping immortal mind, heart, sensing heart, thought looking straight at thought, and the delight when every barrier falls, and the transfiguration, and the transfiguration and the ecstasy. That is the chant of the samana. That is chant, samana. This is the brilliance of Samana's welcome chant. It is the chant of the name of Vishnu. It is the chant of the transfiguration and the ecstasy. No wonder Savitri hastens to join it. Obviously, she hastens to join it with this chant, with a powerful plea, and she does join. She joins it, she comes here, she takes the mortal birth. Because of this wonderful chant of the flaming pioneer, Savitri hastens and gets ready to do her challenging work. She is attracted by the beauty of the apparent ways. She steps on those apparent ways. Readily, she acclaims their portion of everlasting joy, acclaims them that thus the promised thing be realized, that the transcendental path of the Spirit's glory and greatness in the mortal world, the Spirit's glory and greatness in the mortal world be opened out, that the new creation blossom here in the splendors. She is joining this elite crowd, it who is entreating the Supreme, this crowd, advanced souls, so to say, she is joining them. So that is what those two lines mean. And Savitri too awoke among these tribes that hastened to join the brilliant Samana's chant. That is how Savitri appears on the scene, you see. He has heard the call, the Supreme himself, who has come here as yogi. It is his call to which Savitri is now responding. Yes?
But in this, I remember, and I open it now, in this section 2, when Savitri too awoke, after he said, no part she took in
Yeah,
this
that
so
that is what we are going to see now. Basically,
she didn't join this happiness.
no, now we will see. She has come here, but she has come here as a divine in keeping all her aspects of divinity intact, even if she is going to enter into the mortal world. She is not going to get affected by the shortcomings, limitations, the foolishness, stupidities of the mortal. In that sense, she is not going to take part in those stupidities of the mortal world. She is going to keep her divinity intact even here. See. Their portion of evanescent joy, she is not there. Acclaims them that thus the promised things be realized. She has entered in time, but she is not subject to time. If she has to do something in time, she must enter into time and do things without being overruled by time. That is the divine character. You have entered into the den of the enemy. It does not mean that you have forgotten yourself. You are going to do the work which you have to do in that place. Their portion of everlasting joy, acclaim them that thus alone the promised thing. In fact, this is what I mean. Unless the Divine Mother participates, what the Mother says, unless she participates in the mortal process, she cannot really do anything in the mortal world. For that she has to suffer. But when she is participating, it does not mean that she is losing her divinity. Not at all. The portion of everlasting joy acclaims them that thus the promised thing. She is accepting all that thing, because only by participating that the promised things can be realized. without participation. In fact, that is the entire difference. By entering into the mortal world and participating in the anguish, difficulties, sorrows, sufferings of the mortal world, she is going to make them free of it. It is not the divine goddess, the omniscient goddess who had come and gone, who will do that thing. By simply waving a magic wand from up there, she does not want to change things. She wants to participate. From within, things had to change. From within. That is the difficult. That is the transcendental path of the Spirit's glory and greatness in the mortal world. That the new creation blossom here in its splendors. She is joining this elite crowd. It is he who is entreating the Supreme. She acclaims the transient lot. She who belongs to timeless eternity lives now to toil in small time. In this mortality, she is an embodied guest. That is what we are seeing now in the next sentence. She is the embodied guest. She has come here as a guest, you see, embodied guest. In it, yet not of it. You are a guest. Yes, you are there in the house, in the mortal house, but not of it. By stepping in it, by participating in its operative modes, she is going to share the immortal's work itself. That is important. Participating in the operative modes of this creation. She is attracted with the beauty of the apparent ways and willingly, very committedly, she is committed to do something. Committedly, she goes for their joy, though small, ephemeral that joy is. In spite of the thousand pitfalls and difficulties, in spite of anguish and affliction, and all that is here, cruelty, hostility, whatnot, Savitri is lured by this word. Lured in the sense that she accepts it because she sees the divine glory in front of her. That divine samana chant has summoned her to do all these things. So she is lured by that, you see.
She is avatar also. How she can be lured?
Yeah. She is lured by it, you see. Because he has told her, come down, you see. You have to do that. Yeah. Lured by this world. She is lured indeed because of this psychic spark that is present in it. That is present in this world. Psychic spark that is present in it. Lured because the flame pioneers are appeared on the amber stairs of birth. She is lured because of that, you see. But there is a difference. Though she is lured and is going to enter this unsatisfactory world, this sorrowful and transient world, anityam asokam, transient, anityam, asokam, sorrowful. That is Gita. Gita says this world is anityam asokam, transient and sorrowful. That is what the Gita says. Anityam asokam, this sorrowful and transient world, yet her connection with eternity remains intact. Yes, she has entered in this world, sorrowful world, but that connection is not lost at all. Never. Always remains intact. And aside, nothing can disturb it, nothing can kill it, nothing can disturb that connection. She accepts the matters of mortality. Obviously, she has to accept the matters of mortality if she wants to bring about a change in mortality. She takes mortal birth. She enters into the darkness of things, but never takes part in its smallness. Whatever thing she is going to do it greatly, divinely. She is going to get lost. She is not going to get lost. She is not going to go astray in the frustrating triviality of this life. She is not going to get lost in the triviality of life. Hers is a divinely willed commitment to participate in the earth, and in that commitment she remains firm. She holds on. Though she is in the suffocating littleness and pettiness of this earthly life, she is always her own self. Obviously, that inner connection is always there in her case. In fact, there are two Savitris. One is human Savitri, outward Savitri, and one is the inner Savitri. And the inner Savitri, her connection is always there with her. Time's message of brief light is never for her. Obviously, because that connection is always there with her. Time's message of brief light was never for her. Never. She goes only by the message of the timeless and eternal and the true. Even here. Even in time, if she has to do something, she will go by that. She goes only by the message of the timeless and eternal and the true. She has that infallible discernment. What is time's message? What is timeless message? She knows that immediately. She has that dakshina. She is dakshina, alert to all that thing. In discernment, she has that discernment, and she goes entirely by it. The divine can be divine even in mortality. If he cannot be divine in mortality, then he is not divine. Obviously, you see. Yet, the very time's message, Savitri also sees the help man must get. What does she see in time's message? Whatever time's message. Yet in the very time's message, yes, she is receiving message from time. But what does she see in the time's message? She sees the help man needs, the help that man must get. She sees that. If the message is coming from time, she sees in that message what man needs. You see. Man who has lifted up the burden of his fate, a burden too heavy for his feeble soul. Obviously, in Savitri, there is the concern, there is the anguish, there is the anguish of the gods themselves. The gods have concern for man, and Savitri is also carrying that anguish with her. There is the anguish for the good of this creature, of this mortal. These gods, imprisoned in transient human mold, have been striving for him, and in them there is the anguish. In them, in the gods, they have been striving for man, and these gods have anguish for man in them. These gods imprisoned in transient human mold because they are not able to do what they want to do. See, human mold, having striving for him, for man, and in gods there is the anguish, the distress, the disquiet and concern. What? This human mold governed with the limits of time because of that. It is not just the body, this physical mold, human mold is not just a physical mold. It is the totality of human limitations, 1,000 limitations of mortality. That is the human mold, 1,000 limitations of mortality. Man is too small and not ready yet. And they recognize, the gods recognize that the free and wide actions cannot happen in small passing moments, instances. They recognize that. So that is the concern of gods for man. But Savitri has perhaps a greater anguish, a sharper, keener anguish than the anguish of the gods. Yes, gods are striving all the while, trying to help us in many ways, but they cannot do much because of the human mold, the human limitations, human smallness. They cannot do much. So that concern is there, but Savitri cannot simply accept that limitation. She has to do something. Yes, man is limited, but I must still do something. So in that sense, her anguish is greater than the anguish of the gods. It has to be so necessarily. Savitri must experience it in order to remove it. There are things in possession of death. Everything is in possession of death. Truth is in possession of death. Life is in possession of death. There are things in possession of death. But they need not be his possessions. They need not be his possessions, you see. No. Yes, they had to be taken away from him. They had to be freed from him, you see. These had to be free from him. They had to be deathless. These had to be deathless by the death of that which fastened them to death. What fastened them to death? It is that which must be removed and made free. Deathless by conquering death itself. Savitri's anguish is in it. Savitri's anguish is Savitri is carrying the anguish of the gods. All right, gods are striving for man. Savitri's anguish is actually greater than the anguish of the gods because she is concerned about the things which are in possession of death, and gods cannot do anything much about that. Savitri has to do something. Deathless by conquering death itself. Savitri's anguish is innate. Thus will be the task of divine Savitri. That will be the task of divine Savitri. Man shall come accepting the mortal birth. To make things free of death, that is the task of divine Savitri. When she will come here and take mortal birth. The death-bound life, she has to do it by taking this birth. Has to do it by entering into the very process of mortality, by incarnating herself here. Divine Savitri decides it. Because the Samana's call has come, divine Savitri decides it. She does it, is compelled to do it. She awakes to the call and she hastens. Here is now human Savitri to the world. But though she is human, Savitri is always divinely immortal. Immortal in her mundane acts also. She may do all her daily routine things divinely. In fact, there is a story the mother narrates about one of her visits by Durga to her. Durga used to come to her during Durga Puja days and at times stay with her for some time, for days, you see. And mother used to do all the small little things here and there, chopping vegetables or doing this work or doing that work and all that kind of thing. And Durga was amused. How can you do these things? How can you do this? Durga was amused by that thing. How one can do that thing? And the mother said, you have to have the psychic being with you to understand that. To understand that. There is a kind of a sweetness in these small acts also. There is a kind of a divine element in this also. You are chopping vegetables, but you are not really chopping vegetables. You are doing a kind of a different meditation altogether, and you are, through that act, you are in contact always directly with the divine. Though she is human, Savitri is always divinely immortal in her mundane acts also. The actions of celestial nature, Para Prakriti, Brahat Prakriti, big Prakriti, Paratpari, supernature, Para Prakriti, Brahat Prakriti, or the vaster nature are always Savitri's, always hers. She acts in it, in that Para Prakriti. Even here, so she may be doing small things, she may be chopping vegetables or whatever it is, or visit dining room or talk to children or whatever it is, or play football, but that act is there. She acts in it even here. This is so precisely because she ever lives in the depths of calm delight. She always lives in the depths of calm. She can do that. That divine contact is always there with her, and it is then immaterial whether she is washing clothes or washing dishes or cutting vegetables or whatever she lives in the depths of calm delight, calm, luminous delight is always the dynamism of her nature. That is how she is always in contact with Brahat Prakriti, Para Prakriti, calm, luminous delight that joins one soul to all other souls. She sees unity now with every creature in this creation. One soul, the divine love is present everywhere, in every soul. She sees that now. That wedding of one soul to all other souls, that wedding of one soul to all other souls is a key to the flaming doors of ecstasy. These are the lines from Savitri. Flaming doors of ecstasy. Savitri is in possession of that flaming key. What is that flaming key? Wedding of one soul to all other souls. Love with every creature here. That is the key. Every creature, everything is divine. The divine presence is there everywhere. If you recognize that thing, then things become easy for you. That wedding of one soul to all other souls is the key to the flaming doors of ecstasy. So the doors of ecstasy of Ananda open out with that key of oneness, of love. But this oneness has to undergo the fire test. It has to suffer the ordeal in this mortal world. Has to suffer the trying circumstances prevalent on earth. This key of oneness, this oneness of ignorance and fate and death, of extreme opposition and hostility. That one, yes, everybody is one, we say, that experience is there, but what we see here in the mundane creation, enmity, hostility, ambition, possession, there is something in the very grain of earth, in Earth's DNA, that it needs a sap of both pleasure and tears. You cannot be happy only with joy. You need a bit of pain also. You pinch somebody, you feel the pain, and then you enjoy. Pleasure and pain. The sad aspect is this terrestrial creature rejects love and joy that Savitri has brought for him. Not only that, she, the wonderful daughter of infinity, is offered the passion flower of love and doom. So badly is Savitri received. She has oneness, key of oneness with everybody. She loves everything. But what does she get in return? The DNA of the earth is to betray the divine Savior. You see, that is the whole nature of man and earth. Because earth has sprung up from inconscience. So that is the DNA of the earth, the element of inconscience which is there in the earth. It is that which is coming out here. The passion flower of love and doom. So badly is Savitri received. Such is the cruel reward she obtains for the sacrifice she has made. For the sacrifice she has made. What is the sacrifice she has made? She has sacrificed all her divinity and taken the mortal birth. The ignominious birth in this mortality, in this ignorance, the one by fate, chance, death, etc., in the falsehood. She has sacrificed all that Aishwarya, Vaibhava, the splendor of the divine qualities and come here. Such is the cruel reward she obtains for the sacrifice she has made. The sacrifice in accepting the mortal birth. She is disbursing to so much. She is disbursing so much of her rich divinity. She is spreading, spending, giving, scattering all along. Disbursing so much of rich divinity, spending it with the confident, optimistic hope that heaven might make you grow on mortal soil. She is squandering her divinity so that heaven might spring up from here. But things are not easy. Not at all. They are not straightforward. There is crookedness. The grain of earth means that crookedness. The stubborn fact of life is, the fact of this creation is, it is hard to persuade change in its nature. Man has a habit of constantly dying. He has a habit of dying constantly, you see. But he does not want to give up that habit. It is difficult to persuade him to change that habit. It is persuade him. It is difficult for him. He has come here with that offer. Yes, you can change your habit, but man is in love with his habit. The stubborn fact of life is, the fact of this creation is, it is hard to pursue change in its nature. Mortality revolves with fierce hate the light that is brought to it. Not only that, this mortality imposes on noble and lofty things of the spirit the law of the dark abysm. We have brought this things of the spirit here. See, the divine messengers have come, the prophets have come, the rishis have come, the great siddhas have come. They brought something divine here. But what is that? On that we have done? We have built religion, we have built credos, we have built systems, we have built conflicting institutions for that. See. Spirit, the law of the dark abysm, it turns against them who come to save it. Their work gets betrayed. Their good is turned to evil. Yes, everything has happened like that. Turned to evil. What they receive are the abuses and jeers and whips and lashes. Divine love was offered to man, but what does he get? The offerer get in turn? Abuses. He is put on the cross along with two thieves standing by his side, you see. He is carrying the cross on the Via Dolorosa, heavy cross, ebony cross, and the whips are there, the lashes are there, the pierce are pierced in his body. Their word gets betrayed. Their word gets betrayed. Before the cock crew, 3 times he denied the knowledge of this man. 3 times before the cock crew in the morning, you see. That is the story. No. Here is Savitri held in the traps of earthly machinery, in the web of mortality's problems and difficulties and afflictions. But Savitri has previous knowledge of all this dark foreknowledge, and she'll know that her audience hour is here and now. Yes, here it is long foreknown and fatal morn. We'll continue next time. We're gone halfway through, I think.